How can these families continue to honor these deaths by keeping the dreams of these children and teachers alive? Again, how can the loss of these lives matter? We also met Anna and Danilo, the mom and the stepdad of 9-year-old Maite Rodriguez. Now, Maite wanted to be a marine biologist. She was already in contact with Corpus Christi University of A&M for her future college enrollment. 9 years old. Maite cared for the environment so strongly that when the city asked her mother if they could release some balloons into the sky in her memory, her mom said, "Oh no, Maite wouldn't want to litter." Maite wore green high-top Converse with a heart she had hand-drawn on the right toe because they represented her love of nature. Camilla's got these shoes. Can you show these shoes, please? Wore these every day. Green Converse with a heart on the right toe. These are the same green Converse on her feet that turned out to be the only clear evidence that could identify her after the shooting. How about that? Look, we heard from so many people, right? Families of the deceased, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, Texas Rangers, hunters, Border Patrol, and responsible gun owners who won't give up their Second Amendment right to bear arms. And you know what they all said? We want secure and safe schools, and we want gun laws that won't make it so easy for the bad guys to get these damn guns. So, we know it's on the table. We need to invest in mental health care. We need safer schools. We need to restrain sensationalized media coverage. We need to restore our family values. We need to restore our American values. And we need responsible gun ownership. Responsible gun ownership. We need background checks. We need to raise the minimum age to purchase an AR-15 rifle to 21. We need a waiting period for those rifles. We need red flag laws and consequences for those who abuse them. These are reasonable, practical, tactical regulations to our nation, states, communities, schools, and homes. Responsible gun owners are fed up with the Second Amendment being abused and hijacked by some deranged individuals. These regulations are not a step back. They're a step forward for a civil society and the Second Amendment.
This is Matthew McConaughey, a native of Uvalde, Texas, using his platform to call for what 70, 80, 90% of Americans are calling for: common sense steps to reduce gun violence. Because in case there's any doubt, this is not a red versus blue issue. This country isn't at some partisan impasse. We're all there, Democrats, Republicans, and independents. According to the latest CBS poll from this past week, 60% of Americans think that laws covering the sale of guns should be made more strict. That includes 69% of women and 51%, a majority of men. If you break it down by age, that's 62% of those under 30, 63% of those 30 to 44, 59% of those 45 to 64, and 56% of those over 65. If you break it down by race, that's 71% of blacks, 70% of Hispanics, and 56% of whites. That is everyone, all age groups, all ethnicities. We are there. And in fact, we've been there. According to Pew polling from last year, April 2021, so before a bunch of 8 and 9-year-olds were killed in their classroom, 87% of Americans supported mental health restrictions, 81% supported background checks, 79% opposed permitless carry, 77% support red flag laws, 2/3 of Americans support bans on high-capacity magazines, and a new assault weapons ban. Americans are mostly on board with all of this. It is the Republican conference where there is zero support. That's the issue. Yet again, you've got these Republicans in Congress who aren't even pretending to advocate for even a fraction of what their own constituents want because cashing those gun lobby checks is just too important. God forbid they save just a few more lives instead of running yet another campaign ad bragging about their A rating from the NRA. I mean, let's just be honest here. You think responsible gun owners want these mass shootings? Of course not. I refuse to believe that gun owners in America are okay with this. And yet that doesn't stop these elected officials on the right from hiding behind gun owners every time there's a rampage at a school or a church or a grocery store and claiming that they're not willing to compromise because any any common sense gun safety measures would infringe upon the Second Amendment rights of those gun owners, which is convenient, except for the fact that even gun owners themselves want more restrictions. According to a public policy polling survey, 83% of gun owners nationally support criminal background checks on all sales of firearms, while only 14% of gun owners oppose them. And 72% of NRA members support them, meaning this isn't about gun owners being worried that their rights are being stripped away, because those people are smart enough to recognize that making sure a mentally ill person or a volatile young person can't go out and buy an AR-15 on a whim will have no impact on their freedoms. In reality, the reason Republicans hide behind gun owners is to cover for the fact that they want to keep taking money from the gun lobby to fund their re-elections. That's all. It's not rocket science. In just this cycle alone, which isn't even finished yet, the gun lobby has given almost $1 million to Republicans and all of $12,000 to Democrats. That includes 204 Republicans and 4 Democrats. That is an average donation of $4,700. That's all it took to buy out these Republicans to do nothing in the face of daily shootings in schools and churches and concerts and nightclubs and colleges and parking lots. That's all it took to make sure that these elected officials do nothing. But they know that so long as they can pretend that they're just acting on behalf of gun owners, that no one will question the fact that in reality, they are acting on behalf of themselves. This is about job security for them and them alone. Now, I do think that this speech was sorely needed. I think McConaughey's point of view as a Uvalde native is important. I think listening to Texans on this issue is important. However, there's one issue that I take with this, and it comes here.
A nonpartisan issue. This should not be a partisan issue. There is not a Democratic or Republican value in one single act of these shooters. It's not. But people in power have failed to act. So we're asking you. And I'm asking you, will you please ask yourselves, can both sides rise above? Can both sides see beyond the political problem at hand and admit that we have a life preservation problem on our hands? Because we got a chance right now to reach for and to grasp a higher ground above our political affiliations. A chance to make a choice that does more than protect your party. A chance to make a choice that protects our country now and for the next generation. We got to take a sober, humble, and honest look in the mirror and rebrand ourselves based on what we truly value. What we truly value. We got to get some real courage and honor our immortal obligations instead of our party affiliations. Enough with the counterpunching. Enough of the invalidation of the other side. Let's come to the common table that represents the American people. Find a middle ground, the place where most of us Americans live anyway, especially on this issue.
I get the inclination to want to appeal to both sides. I do. But I don't think it's applicable in a situation where one side is already at the table. This is not a Democrat and Republican problem. The Democrats are here. They are ready to pass laws. They are willing to solve this. Hell, they're even willing to compromise. I'd bet that an assault weapons ban would get damn near 100% support on the left. But is anybody holding their breath that it'll pass? Are they staking these talks on it? No, because they understand the reality of the situation and they are willing to compromise. What can we say of the other side? Republicans have blamed mental health issues, they've blamed doors, they've blamed video games, they've blamed godlessness, they've blamed pornography, everything but the guns. Just about all of them have come out already and vowed to not even look at the guns. If they're not even willing to acknowledge objective reality that the issue in front of us is the proliferation of weapons in this country and the ease with which damn near anyone can get their hands on them, then are they really, truly giving this a good faith effort? Does that really sound like a party that wants to fix this? So I applaud McConaughey for the effort. I think adding this pressure from someone who bleeds Texas through and through and is decidedly not a Democrat is important, but I also think we are long past the time where Republicans have shown us that they don't care, that there is no number of dead bodies that will move them. Not after Sandy Hook, or Parkland, or El Paso, or Sutherland Springs, or Santa Fe, or San Bernardino, or Pulse, or the rest of this interminable list, which has prompted the GOP to do absolutely nothing, to not lift a single finger. I hope that Americans on both sides of the political spectrum, I hope that parents, I hope that students and siblings and everyone else, regardless of political affiliation, sees the issues that we're facing and votes not on the usual political BS, migrant caravans and gas prices and all that same tired stuff, but on the survival of these classrooms full of kids, and our parents in grocery stores, and our friends at concerts, and our grandparents in houses of worship. This issue impacts all of us. It is foundational, but most importantly, we can take steps to finally fix it and make this country safer. To see more videos like this, click the subscribe button right here on this screen. And to support my work beyond that, check out my podcast, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, where I cover the week's most important stories and interview the biggest players in the world of politics, including President Biden, Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, Elizabeth Warren, Katie Porter, and so many more. The link is also right here on this screen. And finally, to take action yourself and sign petitions on the most important issues, go to briantylercohen.com/petition.